Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja was interrupted on Monday this week following a federal high court's order preventing it from meeting outside the state. Both petitioners and respondents say they are prepared to move the tribunal back to Makurdi, but only if the governor can guarantee security. Meanwhile, a heavy security presence was seen at the tribunal venue in Abuja as protests erupted. The demonstrators marched towards the National Secretariat of the Nigeria Bar Association carrying placards, and the protest is linked to the relocation of the tribunal from Makurdi to Abuja. The protesters are challenging the legitimacy of the current chairman and councillors, claiming they were screened by the Benjamin Omale-led caretaker committee, while 23 chairmanship candidates as well as 276 councillors screened by the Austin Nagada-led APC Executive Council argue that the electoral process was flawed. Now, joining me for this conversation is a former president of the Senate and an APC chieftain, Ame Ebute. Thanks a lot for joining us, distinguished senator. Right, so there's been a lot of back and forth on this matter in an election that was conducted since last year, and here we are with the inauguration, so to speak, of the tribunal, but now that has been suspended on account of the court order handed down by the Federal High Court in Makurdi. What do you make of the happenings?
Thank you very much for the question. Let me inform you right away that I'm one of the participating lawyers in the tribunal. I'm defending the petition, defending the election of my local government in the Kwaku local government. So we started the sittings of the tribunal in 3 zones of Benue State, and my zone, Zone C, we started sitting in Otukpo. And I think me and other lawyers appeared severally in Otukpo at the tribunal. Then suddenly, we got the information that the tribunal sittings have been transferred to Makurdi. We asked why, but we didn't want to raise any question. We started attending tribunal sittings in Makurdi, and I think I attended tribunal sittings at Makurdi on 3 occasions. Then the last transfer, relocation, is now saying we should come to Abuja. This has never happened before in the judicial history of this country. Local government is entirely a state affair. And I don't think the removed chief judge, I'll call him removed chief judge, because he has already been removed on the advice of the State House of Assembly. He has no power whatever to relocate the local government tribunals from Benue, outside the Makurdi, Benue State territory, to Abuja.
Benue State has ordered that further sittings emanating from the tribunal can only hold in Benue State. So are you satisfied with this development?
That is my stand. That is my stand. It can only hold in Benue State because it is a local government tribunal, local government election tribunal. It is not a national election tribunal. And it is only the state that within which the tribunal can sit. It cannot sit outside a state. But I assure you that if security is the problem, the governor is the chief security officer of Benue State, and if any complaint is brought before him, I'm sure he's going to provide adequate security to protect the members, the litigants, as well as the members of the tribunal in Benue State. But nobody has come to the governor with any complaint of insecurity at the tribunal. And this is the 3rd time that the tribunal is being transferred from Otukpo, Adipo, and Boko to Makurdi, and now transferred from the whole of Benue State to Abuja. What is the problem? What is the problem with this tribunal relocation by the outside chief judge? We will not participate in any proceedings in Abuja because, 1, NBA headquarters is not a court as defined by Section 83 of the Electoral Law. 2, Constitutionally, it is not proper to transfer election tribunals for election that took place in a state to Abuja. There is no law backing the relocation. So on that ground, we will not attend. We will not attend sitting in Abuja.
As it stands now, further sittings have been suspended indefinitely. So what happens now?
Well, as soon as the court gives a final ruling that the tribunal should go back to its normal sitting place, then we will start all over again. We will start to take part in the proceedings of the tribunal. But for now, things have to be on hold until final decision is made by a court with a proper jurisdiction.
Right. So, in the meantime, things are on hold, so to speak. But, tell us about where things stand now regarding, governance at the local government level, especially with this back and forth at the courts, the tribunals, and all the in-betweens. What happens now? Where do you stand in the controversy?
The law is that as long as the tribunal proceedings continue, the sworn-in local government chairman will continue with the functions of governance at the local government level until anybody's election is nullified or confirmed. So, irrespective of the suspension of the proceedings of the local government tribunal, the chairmen are going ahead with the performance of their constitutional duties as chairman of their local government.
Right. Senator Ame, what is your grouse? Help Nigerians understand your grouse and interest in this controversy.
My own stand?
Right, because you've already established that you are even, of course, one of the several lawyers in this matter of challenging the outcome of the election. Tell us about your grouse in the matter. My stand is that since it be properly done, as it has ever been done, I've never seen, I'm almost 80 years of age, I've never seen where tribunals sitting at the local government election are transferred to Abuja. So let the authorities take the proper step to move the tribunal sittings back to Makurdi, and then they will be concluded as soon as possible. They can be sitting every day, even on Sundays, in order to conclude within the time frame allowed by law. So that is my stand. Let things be properly done according to law, not arbitrarily constituting tribunals which place is not defined as a court. Right. As TVC News has been following the issues surrounding the local government election since it was held, and of course there is a lot of controversy. First, concerning the Benjamin Omale-led caretaker committee, and then there is also the issue of the screening of the chairmanship candidates that was done by the Austin Agada-led APC Executive Council. You're also a chieftain, in addition to being a lawyer, you're also a chieftain of the All Progressives conduct. Where do you stand in the issue of the screening process? Because that is also another matter that is being challenged. But what do you make of it, and how is it affecting the party's business going forward?
The local government elections took place on the 5th of October 2024. The National Secretariat of APC constituted a caretaker committee headed by Benjamin Omale. And it is the party, the APC as a party led by Benjamin Omale, under which this local government election was conducted. So, but Austin Agada's faction are very, very stubborn and would not like to take orders from the governor. How can a state chairman, now vow to fight the state governor instead of cooperating with him to move the government ahead smoothly. But they still went and conducted, I don't know what they thought is so most of the petitions in the tribunal are by members of the APC themselves. Not all of them are members of the PDP. So it is the election conducted by Benjamin Omale that is recognized by the Benue State government, not the one, of course, also Agada's faction has not conducted any election. They have no power to conduct any election. They have not put in place any electoral commission to conduct any election. So they are just fighting for nothing.
So you say that the Benjamin... Right, carry on, please.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the legitimate election was conducted by the Benue State Electoral Commission under the leadership of Benjamin Omale, and that if days of the election, the National Secretariat of APC conducted, constituted a caretaker, 7-man caretaker committee to oversee the election of the local government. And of course, that was confirmed when the national party, APC, held their national caucus a few days ago. It was Benjamin Omale that was allowed to enter as a member of the national caucus of the party. And also the following day, when the National Executive Committee of the party held its meeting, it was Benjamin Omale that was allowed. So the National Secretariat does not know anything about Austin, because Austin has been virtually removed as a state chairman of the party. And he is not recognized by the government of Benue State as a state chairman of the party. It's not being recognized by the majority of members of APC in Benue State. But being supported by somebody in Abuja here, he insists that he's the chairman and keeps jumping from one court to another without the support of the people. So as far as the local government chairman, yes? Carry on.
Carry on, please. You were saying that as far...
I'll virtually finish.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, would it be correct, from your radar, would it be correct to say that all is not well with the APC? You just said now that most of the petitions at the LG Tribunal are even from APC members themselves. For an outsider, it does appear that all isn't well with the APC. Because of the faction, they believe that they are own, because there is the outside chief judge constituted a court that gave a ruling that Agada faction was the proper party. But that ruling is on appeal to the Court of Appeal and then to the Supreme Court. Until those decisions are given, Agada cannot say is the chairman of the party at the state level. There was a ruling of the court recognizing the Agada faction as a legitimate faction. But the Benjamin Omale faction has gone on appeal to the Court of Appeal and then to the Supreme Court, because support in the political party is by the people, not by court. Once the people say you are this, definitely you are you are the holder of that office. It's not the court that will have to determine who becomes the state chairman of the party. You just raised an interesting point, distinguished senator, about the power of the people and the power of the courts, especially this is politics, yes. This is a matter many would call internal affairs of the APC. What's been done for possible reconciliation or to settle this matter out of court?
Well, let me be frank with you that you cannot have a governor of a state and then somebody outside the government of that state saying that he will continue to be the leader of the party, who is different from the governor. There is a laid-down convention that where a party produces governor, that governor automatically becomes the leader of the party in the state. Then immediately Alia was elected. Immediately Governor Alia was elected. Then the power in Makurdi here started instigating Augustine Agada faction to disagree with all the decisions that the governor took. How can you now work with a state chairman that does not agree with your policies as the governor of a state? The governor is supposed to be the leader of the state, and definitely in Benue State, Governor Alia is the leader of the party in the state, and we, the elders and the majority of the people, will not accept any other person as the leader of APC in Benue State. So as soon as the other people will give up, they can either go to another party or they give up and come back to APC as members of APC. If not, when during the next election, there will be nowhere electoral in terms of any power in the state. So we are waiting. The confusion will be on until there will be another election again, and then the people's verdict will solve the problem. We believe that we have the support of the people, but these people believe that they have the support of the court and the support of an individual who wants to perpetuate himself as the leader of the party in Benue State. It is all about leadership of the party. It is all about the leadership of the party. What? You are already a leader somewhere. Why do you want to combine this leadership of the party at your own state? Wherever you are holding a very high office in the federal government. That is my thing that surprises everybody. What is the leadership about? The leadership is for the people. Allow the government and the state level to run smoothly in the interest of the people. And since Governor Alia came, the lives of the people have been changed positively. They are now enjoying the dividends of their democracy. Governor Alia is providing roads, paying salary on the 25th of every month, paying gratuities and pension to people whose gratuities were not paid for the upward of 2-3 years before the coming of Alia into office. So I don't know what the faction is about. So the matter will be there until the next election, either election at the local government, at the state level to constitute a new ESCO. And I think Agada office will soon expire, either in March or in April or May. We will now hold election to elect another state chairman of the party. I think that is the time that this crisis will come to an end.
Right. Okay, so let's look at how well Governor Hyacinth Elia has been able to steer the ship of his party, amidst all the turmoils and the storms. Are you saying now that the matter is clearly beyond his control?
No. He's squarely in charge. He's directing affairs in Benue State, irrespective of these minor skirmishes here and there. He's in firm control of affairs in the state. But sometimes they distract his attention by saying this or saying that, by saying that the court has said so, the court has said, no, Alia is in complete control. And is performing as if there is no crisis in the party at the state level. He's not minding anybody's claim to be the leader of the party in Benue State. He's going ahead as the leader of the party and going ahead in the state, and we elders are supporting him squarely.
All right, let's come now.
I don't know.
Let's also come now to the removal of the CJ, because that's also, erupted a lot of outcry. So many people are watching and waiting to see how things will eventually pan out, especially as to the legality or otherwise of the removal of the CJ. What do you have to say? Where do you stand?
As far as I'm concerned, and as far as many elders of the party in Benue State are concerned, the removal of the chief judge is sacrosanct, is completed. He was constitutionally removed through an address by the State House of Assembly, supported by two-thirds majority, as is allowed by Section 292, Section B, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 as amended. So henceforth, since that time, I refer to him as a removed chief judge. It's no longer the chief judge of Benue State, as far as legality is concerned. And that section, Section 292, does not make any reference to NJC as a confirming body for the removal of any chief judge of a state. Once allegations are allegations of serious misconduct are made against you, as was made against him by the State House of Assembly, about seven allegations, serious allegations, including the breach of the law made by the State Assembly itself and many others. So he cannot work with the state governor that he does not want to see eye to eye. He has even boasted outside the state capital that he is bent on bringing down the state government. How can an individual boast on bringing down a state government? That we will not allow that to happen, and I'm sure Alia will not allow that to happen. So as far as the man is still parading himself as the chief judge of Benue State by giving directives for the relocation of tribunals, but he's wasting his time. At the end of the day, we will know who succeeds. Alia will be the person that will succeed eventually. But he's no longer the chief judge of Benue State, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many people are concerned.
Right, but he's parading himself.
But the provisions of the Constitution, Section 292B, are strictly obeyed, and no reference is made to any action to be taken by the NCJ because removal of a chief judge of a state becomes legal. And let me tell you that most constitutions of most countries, including Nigeria, contain provisions for removal of public office holders. Because human beings, being what they are, once you give them the power, some of them will begin to use power to suppress others. They use power for corruption and to commit all other atrocities. So, irrespective of any office that a person is holding, there are always provisions in the Constitution for his removal, be he the head of state or Senate President, Vice President, Governor, Chief Judge, and this is what has happened to the Chief Judge of Benue State because of the serious allegations that were made against him and were tabled before the State House of Assembly, and the vote was carried by 2/3 majority of the House. What else do you want us to do?
I also want to get your perspective, especially now that the CJ is riding on the wings of the NJC, which has, as you know, intervened in this matter, insisting that the powers to remove the CJ rest solely with the NJC. So help to strike a balance, irrespective of, even though you've already made your statement earlier on, but of course we know that he's back there because of the intervention of the NJC, so to speak.
Yeah, that is my surprise, my friend. That is my surprise. I don't know where the NJC comes in terms of the removal of a chief judge of a state. If a chief judge of a state is removed in strict compliance with the provisions of Section 292 of the Constitution, I don't see how the NJC, in order to protect the interests of judges, the independence of judges, can investigate and confirm such allegations and can come up with a decision that the removal is unconstitutional or the removal is constitutional depending on the facts discovered from the allegations made against the ousted chief judge. Because the courts are there to sanitize the society. The courts are there to punish criminals. The church is there not to allow corruption and abuse of office. So I have no doubt that the NJC, after having gone through all the allegations made by the State Assembly, will confirm. But that is not a requirement of the law. I repeat, confirmation by NJC is not a requirement of the law. Once the provisions of Section 292 of the Constitution are complied with, then the NJC can now, confirm the investigation, confirm by proving the facts or disproving the facts. So I have not seen any provision of the Constitution putting any responsibility of the NJC against the removal of any chief judge of a state who has committed gross misconduct. any judge of the High Court, or that of the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, there are provisions in the Constitution for their removal if they commit any gross misconduct. It is not only that of the Chief Judge of the state. Any public office holder can be removed, subject to approval of the approving the appointed authority.
Right,
and in this case, you know that.
But then how do you also
appointed a chief judge?
Okay, carry on, please. Keep on.
Before you appointed a chief judge, before you appointed a chief judge of a state, the governor has to recommend you to the NJC before your appointment is confirmed. Whether it was the previous governor that appointed him or whether it is the governor in office that appointed him, it doesn't matter. You are there at the mercy. I don't want to say at the complete mercy. You are there. You have to cooperate with the government of the day. But you cannot come as an individual as the head of the third arm of government, that is the judiciary, say you are out to fight the executive power in the state. It's never done anywhere.
All right. I was just about to ask, but I wanted to hear you conclude that point. But I wanted to also ask that, you know, in view of what you've said, or in spite of what you've said, you know, for the onlooker, for the observer, so to speak, there is also the concern as to whether the chief judge was given fair hearing before he was slammed by the House of Assembly.
The problem is that the onlooker is always misinterpreting the provisions of the Constitution. That is the problem that we have in this country. If many of the onlookers have read Section 292 of Section B of the Constitution, they won't be jumping to a conclusion that the chief judge was unconstitutionally removed. But they never did that. Being given a fair hearing, yes. He was invited to be given a hearing, but he refused. He refused to appear before any authority in Benue State, having relied on an authority in Abuja. And that is why they now want to bring the proceedings of the tribunal to Abuja so that they can manipulate the decisions that will be coming up in Abuja. Nobody will, the people are not coming to rule any constituency in Abuja. They are coming to rule local governments in Benue State. So they must have the support of the people of Benue State. Thank you very much. So
on a final note, yes, and briefly too, as an elder statesman, what are the viable options right now for peace to reign in Benue State? Because now there are concerns here and there as to the present security outlook in the state. We know the genesis of the problem, my dear. We know the genesis of the problem. The genesis of the problem is we must follow the normal convention of a democratic practice by saying that a governor of a state produced by a particular political party is the leader of the party in that state. That is all. But somebody else is there claiming to be the leader of the party in state and inciting groups to go against the government at the state level. Once they can have a rethink that they should surrender the leadership of the party to the governor area in Benue State, and then now come back to their own house, that is the APC as a house, then that will be the end to all the problem. But as long as we will not accept the leadership of Alia, then the issue will continue to linger on until the next election, either the national election or the election of the state executive of the party. Those are the two means by which the problem can be solved, either through a national election, because if Alia comes out as a candidate, I don't see any semi-god that can stop him. I call it semi-god because God will not stop him. It's only people who say they are semi-god and that Alia cannot come again. They are boasting all over the place that Alia will not be given nomination again. We are just laughing at them because their votes are only few, only one or two, those who are boasting like that. But Alia has captured the attention, has captured through his performance, he has captured the entire Benue people. And if you now go to Benue State and say Alia will not come back, you will be lynched. You cannot even come out on the streets.
because of what he has done. We say, where does this man get his money to do all these things? When previous governors said there's no money to pay gratuity, no money to pay teachers, and earlier came and started paying salary on the 25th of every month. So, my dear, that is the way the problems can be solved. Right. Let the people who are opposing him have a rethink. Let them have a rethink and come back to their own house. Or if they don't want to have a rethink, because you cannot impose leadership, you can only acquire leadership through your performance.
All right, that would be a fine place to rest our conversation. People. Thanks a lot. We appreciate your time with us. Ame Ebute, APC Chieftain, former Senate President. Thanks a lot for your time with TVC News.